Hi there, and welcome to West Kentucky Academic Bowl. I'm your host, Jeremy Krug. We're on the campus of West Kentucky Community and Technical College in Paducah with two teams who've been named district champions, and they've also won their semifinal match. And they're competing in the finals. Yes, this is the championship match of the 2026 Academic Bowl. This is a game of quick recall where today's winning team will walk away with $7,000 in scholarship cash. So there's a lot at stake in today's game. On today's show, we have McCracken County High School taking on Ballard Memorial High School. Let's meet our contestants. We'll start with McCracken County. First, we have Colin McCurran, who likes to write questions for fun. Next, we have Eddie Richards, who likes to read. Next, we have the captain, Gavin Schooley, who's a big football fan. And finally, we have Athena Yang, who likes to read. The McCracken County team is coached by Tammy Bohannon. On the opposing team, we have Ballard Memorial High School. First, we have Jolyn Gorstisa, who plays the French horn. Next, we have the captain for Ballard, Alex Hammonds, who plays the trumpet. Next to Alex, we have Chayton Gorstisa, who plays chess. And finally, we have Owen Enfinger, who plays the guitar. And Ballard Memorial is coached by Zach Lisenby. We're going to play the first half. I'll ask 30 questions. When you answer a toss-up question correctly, you'll earn your team first shot at a bonus question. Both teams are ready, so let's start with the first toss-up. If A is the vector with components 1 and -8, and B is the vector with components x and 2, what is the value of x if the vectors of McCracken Athena?
16.
That is correct.
Yes.
Point for McCracken. Here's your bonus. This tragedy's title character is the son of Laius and Jocasta. After learning that he has killed his father and married his mother, he gouges out his eyes. Identify this first play of Sophocles' Theban trilogy.
Oedipus Rex.
That is correct. Oedipus Rex. Point for McCracken. Here's your next toss-up. This novel tells the story of the fall of the South Vietnamese government in 1975 and subsequent events. The story is told from the point of view of a man who studied in the United States but returned to Vietnam as an undercover communist agent. What is this novel by Viet Thanh Nguyen that won a Pulitzer Prize for Fiction in 2016? McCracken Gavin.
The Sympathizer?
It is The Sympathizer. Point for you. Here's your bonus. This artist incorporated imagery of St. Sebastian, Jesus, and the Virgin Mary in her self-portrait, The Broken Column. She continued these ideas in The Wounded Deer, but used surrealist imagery for Henry Ford Hospital. Who created Fulang Chang and I?
Is that it?
Frida Kahlo.
That is correct. It was Frida Kahlo. Point for McCracken. Next toss-up, number 5. Line segments AB and CD are chords in a circle that intersect at point E. The measure of arc AD is 50 degrees, and the measure of angle AED is 70 degrees. What is the measure in degrees of arc CB? McCracken Athena.
90.
That is correct. Point for you. Here's your bonus. This Mesoamerican deity originated as a vegetation god before becoming the supposed inventor of books and calendars. He was the patron of priests and came to symbolize death and resurrection. Who is this Aztec incarnation of the feathered serpent?
It starts with like
No, it's cute. Quetzalcoatl?
That is correct. Point for McCracken. Toss-up 7. This battle was fought on January 8th, 1815, more than 2 weeks after the signing of the Treaty of Ghent. McCracken Addy.
Battle of New Orleans.
It is correct. Battle of New Orleans. Here's your bonus, McCracken. Between 1966 and 84, this dramatist received a record 10 Obie Awards. His family trilogy included Curse of the Starving Class and True West. Named this recipient of the Pulitzer Prize for Drama for Buried Child.
I don't remember her name. No answer.
Incorrect. Ballard, would you like to steal? Please read.
No answer.
That's incorrect. The answer is Sam Shepard. Sam Shepard. Toss up number 9. This sea is part of the Mediterranean Sea and has been identified with the Etruscans of Italy for over 2,600 years. It forms most of the west coast of Italy as well as much of the coast of Corsica, Sardinia, and Sicily. What is this body of water, which is bounded on its south by the Strait of Messina and on its north by the Corsica Channel? Ballard Alex.
The Red Sea.
Incorrect. McCracken Addy.
Adriatic Sea.
No, it is the Tyrrhenian Sea. Toss up 10. This experiment has a modern variation that uses entangled photons and is called the quantum eraser. If you take the distance between the namesake experiment's constructs and then divide the particle's wavelength by it, you will find the angular spacing between the bands of the fringe pattern that is created. What is this experiment that diffracted light through the namesake openings and showed the way McCracken Colin?
Double slit experiment.
That is correct. Point for McCracken. Here's your bonus. If -4 plus 3i is a zero of f of x with real coefficients, what other complex number is also a zero of f of x?
Isn't it, Tina?
-4 minus 3i.
That is correct. Point for McCracken. At this point, we have a score of McCracken County 9, Ballard County 0. We'll continue with toss-up 12. At an assembly in this city in April 1521, Martin Luther was asked to recant his criticism of the Catholic Church. McCracken Addie.
Worms.
Worms is correct. Point for McCracken. Here's your bonus. Born Alexei Peshkov, this author chose a pen name meaning bitter. During his so-called tramp period, he wrote about Russia's lower classes in works like 26 Men and a Girl and Chelkash. Name this playwright of the lower depths.
No answer.
That's incorrect. Ballard?
Gogol?
No, it's Maxim Gorky. Toss-up 14. Flatfoot and buck dancing are less percussive versions of this folk dance. The precursor of tap, it combines Cherokee, African American, and British Isles steps and is often accompanied by so-called old-time string bands. Name this Appalachian staple and Kentucky's McCracken Addie.
Real?
No, I'll continue for Ballard. Name this Appalachian staple and Kentucky's official state dance. Ballard Owen.
Square?
No, it's clog or clogging. Toss-up 15. The Joule-Thomson process cannot be this type of reaction because it is adiabatic, but they can be exemplified by thermite reactions. This type of reaction produces McCracken Colin.
Exothermic?
It is exothermic. Point for McCracken, and here's your bonus. This substance can be turned into yellow cake through leaching methods. Marie Curie tried to isolate both radium and polonium from this ore, but she could only isolate the radium. What is this ore that contains many uranium oxides and is the primary ore for uranium?
Isn't that 234?
It's a... Can we guess?
Oh, wait.
No answer.
That's time. Ballard?
No answer.
The answer is a pitch blend. Pitch blend. Toss-up 17. Originally an entertainer turned politician, he switched his party affiliation from Democratic to Republican at age 51. When running for president, he used the slogan, "Let's make America great again." Ballard Alex.
Trump.
Incorrect. I'll continue for McCracken. A graduate of Eureka College in Illinois, he admonished Mikhail Gorbachev to tear down this wall on June 12, 1987. Named this former president of the Screen Actors Guild and 40th president of the United States. McCracken Addie.
Reagan.
It was Reagan. Here's your bonus, 18. In his essays from Conversations on Some of the Old Poets, this man publicized his abolitionist views. He satirized the Mexican-American War and the South in 2 series of the Bigelow Papers. Name this writer of the book-length poem, A Fable for Critics.
Oh.
Mexican American War guy. Do you know?
Pope?
Incorrect. Ballard?
No answer.
The answer is James Russell Lowell. Lowell. Toss up 19. On screen, this woman portrayed dancer Irene Castle in 1939. She joined her co-star from that film in 9 other movies, including Flying Down to Rio and Follow the Fleet. McCracken Addie.
Ginger Rogers.
It was Ginger Rogers. Point for you. And here's your bonus. Triangle ABC is similar to triangle XYZ. If the measure of angle A is 47 degrees and the measure of angle Y is 73 degrees, what is the measure in degrees of angle C?
Doesn't it, Tina?
60.
That is correct. 60 degrees. Right now we have a score of McCracken County 14, Ballard County 0. We'll continue with toss-up 21. Fans of this work of literature celebrate June 16th as Bloom's Day. Considered to be one of the best examples of stream of consciousness, its 265,000 words narrate the events of one day in the life of one Ballard Owen.
Ulysses?
It was Ulysses. You're on the board, Ballard, and here's your bonus, number 22. James II was the final British king of this royal house, though its last monarch was his daughter, Queen Anne. Name this royal house whose rule of Great Britain directly preceded that of the House of Hanover.
I'm pretty sure.
No answer.
That's incorrect, McCracken.
Doesn't Annie?
Stewart.
It is the House of Stuart. That is a point for you. Next toss-up. Exposure to 5 of these will usually kill a person within 2 weeks, although cancer patients may be exposed to as many as 80. This is the SI unit of Kerma, which is an acronym for kinetic energy released per unit mass, and has replaced the rad as the primary radiation dosage unit. What is the name for the SI unit of absorbing dose of radiation? McCracken Colin.
Becquerel.
Incorrect. That's time. The answer is the gray. The gray. Toss up 24. A spinner has 10 sectors of equal area numbered 1 to 10. If the spinner is spun once and it is given that the spinner landed on a number greater than 5, what is the probability that the spinner landed on a prime number? McCracken Athena.
1/4.
That is incorrect. Ballard Chayton.
1/2.
No, it's 1/5, 1/5. Toss up 25. Although he began life as a zani, this character transformed into a faithful valet. In England, he starred in his own slapstick pantomime. Identify this commedia dell'arte character who wore a tight-fitting costume covered in diamond and triangle. McCracken Gavin.
Harlequin.
It is Harlequin. That is correct. Here's your bonus 26. While representing the United States at this event in the summer of 1945, President Harry Truman informed Joseph Stalin of the United States development of the atomic bomb. Give the name of this meeting held in Germany, the last such meeting of Allied leaders during World War II.
I don't think I know this. Okay, but he's good.
No answer.
Incorrect, Ballard?
No answer.
It was the Potsdam Conference. Here's your next toss-up. In this novel, May's pregnancy prevents Newland Archer from leaving her. Newland wants to run away with May's cousin, Ellen Olenska, but Ellen leaves before he can. What is this Pulitzer winner, McCracken Addy?
Age of Innocence.
That is correct. Here's your bonus, McCracken, number 28. As the energy of this phenomenon increases, it may be replaced by Compton scattering instead. The maximum kinetic energy of one particle emitted in this phenomenon is equal to the photon's energy minus its work function, an equation that won Albert Einstein his Nobel Prize in Physics. What is this effect that sees incident photons hit a material which will then release electrons?
Isn't it Colin?
Photoelectric effect.
That is correct. Point for McCracken. Here's your next toss-up. This Spanish architect's works are most famous for skillful use of curves and lines in bridges and buildings. His first bridge design was the Bac de Roda Bridge in Barcelona. McCracken Addy.
Gaudi.
That's incorrect. I'll continue for Ballard. His first bridge design was the Bac de Roda Bridge in Barcelona, Spain, and he also designed the Samuel Beckett Bridge in Dublin, Ireland, which opened in 2009. Named this architect most famous for the 54-story twisting tower in Sweden, Twisting Torso. Ballard Owen.
Rohe.
Incorrect. It was Santiago Calatrava. Here's toss-up 30. One member of this class has a large axon that was used to study signal propagation along nerves by Hodgkin and Huxley. Many members of this class have reflection contained within chromatophores which display patterns for camouflage or communication. What is this class of mollusks that include members like the nautilus, squid, and octopus? McCracken Colin. Hesitation. That's time. No buzz from Ballard there. The answer is cephalopoda. Cephalopoda. Well, we're at the end of the first half. At halftime, it looks like McCracken leads Ballard Memorial by a score of 18-1. We're going to take a short break. Don't go away. We'll be right back to play the second half of the finals in the West Kentucky Academic Bowl. Welcome back to West Kentucky Academic Bowl. We're about to play the second half of our championship match. Right now at the halfway point, McCracken County leads Ballard Memorial High School by a score of 18-1. Before we do, though, we've had a couple substitutions. Let's meet our new players, starting with McCracken County. We have Caroline Roberts in the first position here. She plays soccer. For Ballard Memorial, we have two new players. In the first position, we have Jacob Wilkins, who plays the euphonium. And in the third position, we have Isaac Mathis, who plays trombone. Well, we're ready to start the second half. Let's go ahead and begin with the first toss-up. Unlike Bauhaus, this early 20th century style brought artistic embellishments to everyday objects. Unlike arts and crafts and Art Nouveau, it focused on McCracken Addy.
Art Deco.
That is correct, Art Deco. A point for you, and here's your bonus. This threshold was named for the 20th century Hungarian-American engineer who first described it. Above it, the atmosphere is too thin for airplanes to fly. Name this line, which, according to the International Aeronautical Federation, is defined as 100 kilometers above sea level and is the boundary where outer space begins.
Is that like a Hungarian name?
Periods.
What? No answer.
Incorrect. Ballard?
Exosphere?
No, the answer is the Kármán line. Toss-up 3. This character is the nephew of Hela and son of Ecgtheow. He is supernaturally strong, a great swimmer, and a warrior who defeats the monster Grendel and McCracken Addy.
That's not my
Okay. McCracken Gavin, go ahead.
Beowulf?
It is Beowulf.
Switch again?
Switch again.
Here is your bonus, McCracken. Number 4. The Supreme Court's decision in this case overturned its previous decisions in Planned Parenthood of Southeastern Pennsylvania versus Casey and Roe versus Wade. Mississippi's passage of the Gestational Age Act in 2018 led to what historic Supreme Court decision?
I don't remember. This is the new one.
No answer.
Incorrect, Ballard?
No answer.
It's Dobbs v. Jackson. Toss-up 5. A set contains the individual letters in the word graph. How many proper subsets does this set have? McCracken Athena.
31.
That is correct. It is 31. Here's your bonus, McCracken. Tightly coiled solenoids with a solid metal core can have a very high value for this quantity and are used in transformers. Lenz's law is used to explain how this property works in devices that use this property are represented by the letter L. What is this property that describes how a change in current can produce an electromotive force that opposes the change and was independently discovered by Joseph Henry and Michael Faraday?
Doesn't Carolyn?
Resistance.
Incorrect. Ballard?
Ohm?
No, the answer is inductance. Toss-up 7. Consider the conic section with equation x squared plus 4y squared plus 6x plus 20y minus 12 equals 0. When this conic section is graphed, what would be the shape of the graph? McCracken Athena.
Circle.
Incorrect. Ballard Owen.
Ellipse.
It is ellipse. Point for Ballard. And here's your bonus. This playwright's former father-in-law, Russell Crouse, shared a Pulitzer Prize for State of the Union. In contrast, this dramatist's first Broadway hit was the Drama Critics Circle Award-winning American Buffalo. Identify the playwright of Glengarry Glen Ross.
Yeah.
I think
you're right.
No answer.
Incorrect. McCracken?
Mammoth.
It is Mammoth. Point for you for the steal there. Here's the next toss-up. Actress Carrie Coon stars in an HBO television series about this period of American history associated with such figures as Andrew Carnegie, McCracken Addy.
We swapped. It's Gavin. But
Gavin?
Gilded Age?
It is the Gilded Age. Here is your bonus, number 10. This author originally published this collection of free verse poems under the pseudonym Webster Ford. It begins with The Hill, which precedes over 200 supposedly autobiographical epitaphs. Name this portrait of small-town life and death by Edgar Lee Masters.
Oh, I don't remember the name.
Leaves of grass. Leaves of grass.
No answer.
Incorrect. Ballard?
No answer.
The answer is Spoon River Anthology. At the end of 10 questions, we have a score of McCracken 23, Ballard 2. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back to West Kentucky Academic Bowl. We're in the championship, and we're in the home stretch of the second half. We're about to start with toss-up number 11. Teams, here's your next toss-up. The sides of a rectangle have lengths that are 4 units and 6 units. What is the length in units of a diagonal of the rectangle? McCracken Athena. That is correct. Point for McCracken. And here's your bonus. This anion is the conjugate base of hydrozoic acid. When combined with sodium, this ion is used as the propellant for airbags in cars and sometimes as a rocket propellant. What do we call this ion, often found in organic compounds, which has the formula N3 and a charge of -1?
Nitrate.
That's incorrect. Ballard?
Nitrite?
No, it's called azide. Azide. Toss-up 13. This civilization rose to prominence about 1200 BC and is known for its colossal head statues. It developed a writing system, and its culture spread through Mexico and into Central America. Give the name of this earliest major civilization in Mexico. McCracken Gavin.
Olmec.
It is Olmec. Point for McCracken. And here's your bonus. The Navier-Stokes equations can be derived by applying this law to fluids. Integrating this law over time, 5, the impulse are delivered by a force because one side turns into the change in momentum. What is this law that is often given as force equals mass times acceleration?
Newton's second law.
That is correct. Newton's second law. Point for McCracken. Here's your next toss-up. Within many Native American cultures, the sacred fire was extinguished on the eve of this ceremony and remade at dawn on the day of this festival. Nearly all crimes and wrongdoing were forgiven during this midsummer festival, as were grudges and debts. Give the name of this festival celebrating a crop important to many Indian tribes of the American Southeast. McCracken Eddie.
Corn festival?
Incorrect. Ballard Alex.
Maize Festival.
No, the answer is busk ceremony. Toss-up 16. Consider the equation negative 21 plus 1/7 x equals 12. When this equation is solved for x, what is the value of x? McCracken Athena. That is correct. It's 231. Point for McCracken. Here's your bonus. This portion of many North African cities often features steam baths called hammams. It is an old, usually walled Arab quarter whose name is Arabic for city. Give this word that also names Saudi Arabia's fourth most populous and Islam's second holiest city.
Medina.
Is that Caroline?
Medina.
It is Medina. Point for McCracken. Here's your next toss-up. In this work, a character named for the author meets an Antwerp resident named Peter Giles. Raphael Hythloday recounts his travels to the tidal island, whose name derives from McCracken Gavin.
Utopia?
It is Utopia. Point for you. And here's your bonus. This novel is said to be a modernized retelling of Shakespeare's King Lear. It is set on a farm in Iowa where the main character, Larry Cook, decides to incorporate his farm and transfer ownership to his three daughters, Ginny, Rose, and Caroline. Name this 1991 novel written by James Smiley, whose title refers to the size of the farm.
Some amount of acres.
1,000 acres.
That's correct. 1,000 acres. Point for McCracken. Here's your next toss-up, number 20. These compounds include inosine and hypoxanthine, and uric acid is often created when they are metabolized. These compounds are formed when an imidazole ring fuses to a similar class of cyclic compounds. What is this class of compounds of which adenine and guanine are members? McCracken, Caroline.
Nucleic acids.
Incorrect. Ballard, Jacob.
Nucleotides.
No, they're called purines. Purines. We'll move on with toss-up 21. This Nobel laureate collaborated with editors to translate his works from Yiddish to English. His story, McCracken Gavin.
Singer.
That is correct. It was Isaac Singer. Point for McCracken. Here's your bonus. Noether's theorem says that this law must be true because physical systems are invariant and symmetric under continuous rotation. Kepler's law of equal areas is the equivalent of this law. What is this law that describes why a skater will spin faster when they bring their arms closer to their body?
Is that Addie?
Law of centripetal forces.
Incorrect. Ballard?
Law of centrifugal force.
No, the answer is the law of conservation of angular momentum. Toss-up 23. If a square has an area of 50 square units, what is the length in units of a side of the square? McCracken Athena. That's right. Point for you. And here's your bonus. This historic estate in Virginia was home to the man known as the architect of the Bill of Rights and father of the Constitution. Give the name of the lifelong private estate of the United States' fourth president, James Madison, a name shared with the capital of a state in New England.
Montpelier.
That is correct. Point for you. Moving on to toss-up 25. In this tragedy, the title characters' daughters respectively marry the Duke of Albany, Duke of Cornwall, and King of France. A subplot concerns the Earl of Gloucester and his sons Edgar and Edmund. What is this Shakespearean play about? McCracken Addie.
King Lear.
It is King Lear. Point for McCracken. Here's your bonus. This 1931 painting is housed in the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. One of the key pieces of the lower left corner is pictured covered in ants, suggesting decay. It is thought that this artwork incorporates Einstein's theory that time is relative. Identify the Salvador Dali surrealist painting, sometimes incorrectly called the soft watches or the melting clocks.
Is that Addie?
The persistence of memory.
That is correct. Point for you. Here's the next toss-up. In between this residence's 8 steel columns are floor-to-ceiling windows that surround the house. Completed in 1950, McCracken Gavin.
Farnsworth Building.
That is correct. Here's your bonus, 28. A line L is perpendicular to the line M, which has equation 4x minus 5y equals 20. What is the slope of line L?
Isn't it, Athena?
-5/4.
That is correct. Point for you. Here's the next toss-up, number 29. The Tang dynasty worshipped this thinker, whose biography is in the Shiji, as an imperial ancestor. Moderation, McCracken Addy.
Lao Tzu.
That is correct. And here is your bonus. This is going to be the last bonus of the match. Neil Armstrong was the first man to walk on the moon, who, as of January 2026, was the last man to walk on the moon, doing so as part of the 1972 Apollo 17 mission.
I don't know.
Hopper.
That's incorrect. Ballard?
No answer.
The answer is Gene Cernan. Gene Cernan was the last man to walk on the moon. Well, we're at the end of the championship match, and congratulations to McCracken County. You've defeated Ballard Memorial by a score of 38-2. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back to give out some awards right after this. Welcome back to West Kentucky Academic Bowl. We've just finished the championship match of this year's tournament. Congratulations to McCracken County. You have defeated Ballard Memorial by a score of 38-2, and you've just won $7,000 in scholarship cash for your team. You get that nice trophy to take home as well as that scholarship money. So big congratulations there. And to Ballard Memorial, don't feel too bad. Even though you came up short, you did make it to the final match. So for that, we're going to give you $4,000 in scholarship cash to divide up amongst your team, and that nice trophy to take home as well. So great job, and congratulations to both teams. And to all 16 of our teams from across Western Kentucky who participated this year, whether you made it to the finals or not, congratulations on representing your school. You have made us all very proud of you. And to all of you at home, this has been Jeremy Krug. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you next time on West Kentucky Academic Bowl.